You stood in front of the mirror. Fixed your hair. Tried a pose. Maybe even practiced your smile, even if no one was watching. Maybe you checked yourself 3 times before taking a photo. This feeling sounds familiar, doesn't it? The need to be liked. The desire to look attractive. A small worry, that quiet voice whispering, "How do I look?" This feeling wasn't born today. It wasn't born with the phone. It wasn't born with social media. 50,000 years ago, the same feeling existed. The same worry, the same hope, the same small excitement. There just wasn't a mirror. There just wasn't a screen. But that feeling, that exact feeling, was already there, waiting. Now let's go back 50,000 years. Imagine it. The cave is dark, only the firelight glows. Flames crackle, shadows dance on the walls. Outside, wind howls, animal sounds carry through the night. And right there, around that fire, someone is looking at someone else. Assessing. Studying. Liking, or not liking. You thought this was something modern. You thought it was an invention of social media, of dating apps. But the evaluating glance, the search for attractiveness, these are as old as humanity itself. Even inside that cave, someone was silently asking, "Is this person right for me?" You've always been told, primitive humans thought of nothing but survival. Finding food, staying warm, escaping wild animals, that's all it supposedly was. Beauty, aesthetics, attraction, these were painted as luxuries invented much later. But that story is incomplete. Even wrong. Because they searched for attraction too. They noticed beauty too. They told each other, "You're different, you catch my eye," even without words, through glances, through gestures, through small acts. Here's the part most people never hear: ancient humans had a real, systematic sense of aesthetics. Not random. A consistent, shared sense of beauty, passed down across generations. This isn't just an interesting curiosity. This is a truth woven into the foundation of human nature. And there's proof. Evidence carved into stone, etched into bone, stained into pigment. This evidence explains why you check the mirror today, why you pause before taking a photo. Archaeologists found 100,000-year-old seashell beads in a cave in Morocco. Pierced. Strung on a cord. Believed to have been worn around the neck or wrist. 100,000 years ago, someone sat down, patiently drilled a tiny hole, threaded a thin cord through it, and put it around their neck. Not for survival. It doesn't fill a stomach, doesn't keep out the cold. Just to look beautiful. One of the first human inventions that fed no hunger but fed the soul, made purely to be seen. So why? Hungry, freezing, fighting to survive every single day, why would a cave dweller take the time to adorn themselves? It sounds illogical, doesn't it? But wait. The answer runs deeper, older, and far more fundamental than you'd think. Let's go deeper. At Blombos Cave in South Africa, a 164,000-year-old red earth pigment called ochre was found. Processed, ground, mixed, prepared to be applied to the body. Scientists consider it one of the earliest known cosmetic materials in human history. Think about this: there was no writing, no mirrors, language itself wasn't even fully formed. But appearance, how you looked, already mattered. You already wanted to catch someone's attention. This is where evolutionary biology comes in. Attraction isn't a random matter of taste. It's a system coded into the deepest, oldest layers of the brain. The brain automatically processes certain traits, symmetry, health, strength, youth, and labels them beautiful. This process isn't conscious. You don't decide, your brain decides for you. What you find attractive isn't really your free choice. It's a relic of your ancestors' survival strategy, tested over thousands of years. So here's what that means: a symmetrical face. Clear, smooth skin. An upright posture. Shiny, thick hair. These are still what we look for today, on billboards, in magazines, on screens. Because our brains are still running the same ancient code. When you swipe through a profile on your phone, you're actually running a 50,000-year-old algorithm. Long before Tinder, your brain was already a matching system. Attraction isn't a luxury. Attraction was a direct survival signal. Looking good meant being healthy. Being healthy meant being disease-free, strong. Being strong meant being able to produce healthier children. Aesthetics was actually a hidden calculator. Not your taste, your species' survival strategy. Every glance was, in truth, a small calculation. If I'm with this person, does my lineage continue? Anthropologists found traces of hair combing, body oiling, and teeth cleaning in ancient societies. Bone combs, containers holding oil residue, even tooth wear showing signs of cleaning. These aren't coincidences. Grooming wasn't a luxury, it was a direct investment in mating chances. Someone combing their hair wasn't all that different from a hairdresser's appointment today. The goal was the same: to be noticed, to be liked, to be chosen. It was worth the time, because the outcome could change your entire life. But wait. What happened to those who weren't found attractive? Did someone who didn't fit the standard, who wasn't seen as attractive, exist in those societies? Or did everyone, somehow, somewhere, find their place? This question reveals whether the ancient world was cruel, or kinder than we assume. Some skeletal remains were found of individuals who lived for many years despite serious physical impairments. Bone deformities, missing limbs, advanced age, none of it was the cause of death. The community protected them, fed them, kept them alive for years. So attraction wasn't everything. Belonging, solidarity, love, these existed too. Both were true at once. Attraction mattered, but it wasn't the only thing that decided your fate. Here's the question no one asks: were we the only ones who adorned ourselves? Was Homo sapiens the only one chasing beauty? No. Neanderthals adorned themselves too. Traces of pigment, bird feather remains, bone ornament fragments were found among them too. The pursuit of attraction wasn't unique to our species. This wasn't a human invention that came later. It was a far deeper, far older biological drive. This is where Grunk's commentary comes in, so the first pickup lines are as old as history itself. Instead of "wanna take a selfie," it was probably "that shell really suits you." Maybe someone sat by the fire, holding out a painted stone, saying "I made this for you." Let that sink in. Flirting existed even before language was fully invented. Humanity felt first. It spoke later. Even without language, the body was speaking. A glance. A posture. A touch. These were the first language of flirtation. Before words, the body was already sending messages. A glance said, "I'm interested." A smile said, "You're safe with me." A step back said no. Communication began before sound did. And maybe that stayed the most honest form of communication, because the body, unlike language, couldn't lie. But this pursuit also had a painful side. Some people never found a partner. Some searched for years, and never found one. Some lived alone, and died alone. Not being found attractive meant a real, heavy loneliness, even in the ancient world. This feeling, the fear of exclusion, the pain of not being chosen, is felt just as heavily today. Only the setting changed. A phone screen instead of a cave, a notification sound instead of a fire. But the pain is the same pain. In some graves, ornaments were found buried alongside the deceased. Beads, necklaces, carefully painted bones. This wasn't a random burial. It was a farewell made with care, made with love. Someone who was loved was sent off on their final journey looking their most beautiful. Even in death, beauty carried meaning. Those left behind wanted to show, one last time, that the person who was gone had been valued, had been beautiful. Now let's return to today. You're standing in front of the mirror again. Fixing something. Wanting to be liked. Maybe before a date, maybe before a photo, that small worry is there again. This instinct isn't your invention. It isn't your weakness either. It's a 50,000-year-old inheritance you're carrying. Your ancestors felt that exact same thing, around that exact same fire. You are not alone. You are the last link in a chain. The pursuit of attraction never ended. It just moved from the shell to the mirror.